Hello and welcome to another episode of Moose's Gear Goo Review. I'm Moose, and today we have another knife review. This one's pretty cool. This is the Cold Steel Recon 1. The Cold Steel Recon 1 with the spear point blade. Alright, so we're going to read over some specs and then we'll get on with it. So, the overall length of this knife is 7.1 inches. The blade length is 3 inches long. The cutting edge is 2.75 inches. The blade thickness is 0.14 inches. The handle length is 4.25 inches. And the overall weight of this is 3.6 ounces. Alright, so let's talk about this knife. So, first off, I got a really decent deal on this. At the time of this video, the price on online sites is about $80. So, yeah, I got this for about $30 cheaper, which is a really good deal. So I got it for about $50. So depending on how and where you shop online or even some retailers, you might be able to find it as low as around $50. But definitely a cool little knife. Now, this knife is based off of the full-size Recon 1, which is a very popular design of the Cold Steel brand. They sell a ton of them, and it's definitely one of their kind of flagship HOF style knives. So really cool. So we'll start with the blade. First off, it's when I bought this knife, it said, or when I ordered, it said spear point blade. Now, obviously, when you look at it, it really doesn't look that much like a spear point, though you can see how it is kind of. Spear points usually are symmetrical as they come down, just the same way you would see in like a traditional spear point. But this has a little bit more of a belly and it's more of a drop point. So, but it is what it is. That being said, I don't really know what the coating on the blade is, but it's some sort of black durable coating. So whatever. And on it you see the logos for the Recon 1 as well as the Cold Steel logo made in Taiwan, and we have the American steel of CTS-XHP, which is a very high quality steel. And part of the reason why a knife this size is normally around the $80 to $90 range. That being said, it has a full plain edge, hollow grind, has a slight swedge up here just for style. It does have the ambidextrous thumb studs, and it's Cold Steel's flathead kind of screw thumb studs, so you can screw it and adjust it to favor one side or the other depending on what your dominant hand is or how you want to carry it. And then there's a choil down below on the edge of the blade to sharpen the length of the blade, even though the blade looks like it's unsharpened right by that choil, so who knows. But yeah, solid blade. It has a 90-degree spine that I can feel, so you could definitely throw some sparks with this bad boy, which is pretty neat. And as overall for the size, I'd say that this knife is definitely kind of a medium size knife. I wouldn't say it's small. I wouldn't say it's large. I'd say it fits into the medium category. Similar to like a paramilitary, well, similar to like a tenacious, I guess, would be, though it's a little bit short, but I'd say it's a medium size. That being said, going into the handles, they are black G10 handles. It's very thin handle as far as this diameter goes, or this measurement goes here. And here it's very contoured. We have some like two major finger choils here that create a thumb guard, and then it curves down and tapers. I like the curve in the handle here as well as this upsweep kind of creates a thumb ramp, and there are these large kind of jimping that are carved into the G10. There is this metal piece back here, and that is for the triad lock, which is a tremendously strong back lock mechanism here. That works very well. There's no blade play. Cold Steel does a fantastic job with that lock, and there's never any blade play, at least in any of the knives that I got. The grip is I'd say a smaller kind of fabric texture. It is grippy, and then it does have a blackened pocket clip. Now, when I got this, it does come with an additional pocket clip because, as you can see, it's curved to match the curvature of the handle. So if you were to install it on the other side, you'd need it to curve the opposite way. So they did provide an additional pocket clip if you are left-handed and wanted to carry it that way. But it is tip up only, left and right side. So awesome. As well, the edges are rounded, so it's not a boxy feeling, and it actually feels very comfortable in hand. If you do try to grip it reverse, this is where there's a problem, because it isn't very straight, and the curve goes against the natural form of your grip, so I wouldn't recommend that. But in the regular hand with a thumb on this ramp, it actually is very comfortable. There's also a small groove here, I guess, to show you how or what angle you are supposed to deploy the knife. But, I think they could have done without that. But I guess but I don't know. Doesn't help me any more than it would if it was there or not. So, but it's a part of the knife, so. That being said, there is a small lanyard hole, and the G10, it's just awesome. The only concern is with the G10, it is fairly abrasive, so sliding your pants underneath this clip, plus the clip is very strong, will eventually probably wear out your jeans, so you might either want to loosen the clip by kind of carefully bending it, or you would try to maybe grind down some of the texturing underneath that part where the clip meets the handle scale. All right, so that's the knife. So let's compare it to some other knives. We have the Kershaw Skyline. We have the Benchmade North Fork. And, of course, my favorite, the Cat. I love this thing. All right, so looking at these knives, lining them up. As you can see, the Skyline is the longest, just over 3 inches. The Cat is the shortest, just over 2.5 inches. And the Recon and the North Fork are very similar as far as blade lengths and size. Handle lengths, the Recon is just shorter than the Skyline, and just longer than the North Fork. So that gives you any idea as far as sizes go. I'd say it's most comparable to the North Fork in size. So let's compare the blade thickness. It's a little hard to compare when the blade is blackened because it looks a little bit smaller, but in this comparison, I'll have to say that the Recon is slightly thicker than the North Fork. Oh yeah, handle-wise, the handle is actually thinner than the North Fork. Blade thickness, the Recon one is thicker than the Skyline. And handle thickness, the Skyline might be a slight bit thinner in the handle. Blade thickness with the Cat, they look about the same. Though, yeah, and then the handle thickness, they look about the same. So there you have it. That's the Recon 1. Oh, we forgot the most important test of all. The ugly round glove test. Now, this is a test to see how well a knife feels in hand when you're wearing a clumsy cloth glove. Texture-wise, the texture on the G10 actually grips the glove really, really well. The finger choils are easy to find with the glove and actually lock the hand into place very well. The jimping on the back up here on the thumb ramp isn't the greatest, but it's still good enough to give me some purchase with this glove. Finding the lock, I can find it. Now, the cool thing with this is I always recommend closing lockbacks with two hands, but there is enough of the actual stock of the material, the blade, that there's no sharp, so if you have your finger there, you can stop it without cutting yourself, then move the thumb and fold over. But that is a little bit more advanced technique as far as closing a knife. So I still recommend doing it with two hands, but for one hand, open and close with a cloth glove. Definitely passes. Excellent job there, Cold Steel. So pass the ugly brown glove test. Whoop. All right, so there you have it, guys. Ugly brown glove test comparing the knives. This is the Recon Mini Recon 1. In the spear point tip came crazy sharp XHP blade, awesome. G10, awesome. Overall size, just really cool. So, really cool lockback knife, triad lock, ridiculous. So check it out, especially if you can find it for around 50 bucks, 50, 60 bucks. It's a steal. Don't want to miss that. Otherwise, even for the price of around $80, totally worth it. Thank you guys so much. Keep watching. Please like, subscribe, and comment. Check the eye in the upper right-hand corner for links to other videos that I do. And stay tuned. I'll see you outside. Thank you.